Greetings, it's I, Tantus Naraban Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time for Gathering the Roll, the only news program supported by the Empire. Inciting and fantastic news from the worlds of Magic the Gathering and role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons, Shadowrun, and Pathfinder. For the news this week, we have some news first from Dungeons & Dragons. Yet another Unearthed Arcana has come out. This one is about monastic traditions of a monk. Two new ones are introduced with this Unearthed Arcana. It introduces you to the Way of the Kensai, a monk order all about using weapons and special Kensai weapons, based of course upon a prestige class back from 3.0 and some other various sources. Another one is the Way of Tranquility, which is all about being diplomatic, keeping order and friendship and peace, and only getting into combat when you absolutely need to. So it's another interesting way of looking at the battle scene. Both of these are, of course, you can check them out now for use in your Dungeons & Dragons game. And if you want to, if you've already checked out some of the fighter ones, you could answer a survey on Wizards' website letting them know about what you think about the fighter ones from last week. Moving on, let's talk about Paizo and Pathfinder news. There are two releases I want to talk about this week. The first is, well, of course, it goes along with their release of the Curse of the Crimson Throne Adventure Path and new compiled hardcover format. With this release, they are also releasing a Curse of the Crimson Throne pawn box. Now, they've released pawn boxes for previous adventure paths, which involve all the pawns of every creature from that adventure path, so that you can use them on a miniatures board. They're for use with the Bestiary box collection, where they have all the pawn bases in there, so that you can place it on a normal battle board, put any creature that you need where you need it, and it's got all these special creatures more than beyond just the normal monsters. Any kind of custom monsters, any kind of NPCs will have pawns for this. So it's very exciting, and if you're doing the new Curse of the Crimson Throne, I'd recommend it for making it easy for your battle boards. Moving on, though, they have also released the next adventure in the Strain's Aeon Adventure Path. This is the fourth one out now. The Whispers Out of Time. It's for 10th level characters, leading your characters continuing to chase their adversary while being hounded by strange dreams of a creature from beyond tormenting them. So it's an interesting sort of moving on, continuing this sort of Lovecraftian horror story that's been going on throughout the Strange Aeon's Adventure Path, and continuing it now with a little more psychological things going on. Check it out now if you want your adventurers to continue along this path. In Shadowrun news, there is a whole bunch of releases this week. 2 novels and 2 PDFs that will soon be put out in print form. As for the 2 novels, the first one is a novel called Big Dreams, all about a corporate mage whose day goes from bad to worst and gets into a situation that they have to get themselves out of. The other novel is a Shadowrun Legends novel, Ragnarok. This one's all about a Shadowrunner who's at the head of this sort of elite team of Shadowrunners, and he gets a mission to go look for this magical artifact and has to go on a sort of ragtag quest while competing with a corporation in order to claim the artifact first for his client. So an interesting sort of take on a Indiana Jones style adventure. Moving on to the 2 ones that are out in PDF format, and as I said, printed versions will be out soon, but if you want to get the PDF versions early, you can get them. 2 releases there. The first is the third in the Deep Shadows series of books that are all about various kinds of jobs a Shadowrunner can go on. Cutting Aces is all about the con job. And now this also talks about short and long con jobs. So if you are interested in learning what your Shadowrunners can do in relation to that, check out the book. The other one is a new adventure, a mission, False Flag, which takes place in the city of Denver, where things are coming to a head in tensions and your characters get in the sights of a dragon. So it's going to be an interesting one while tensions are running high and a dragon is after you. A cool adventure to check out. Moving on, though, there is some more Earthdawn news. Yet another High Circle play has been released some information. This one is about Nethermancers. So if you're playing a Nethermancer and you want to get up to that High Circle play, from 9th to 15th, that'll give you the rules about it. Gives you all the information, some things about the various talents you'll be taking, and other stuff that you'll need to know when playing that High of a Circle in Earthdawn. So as they're continuing this sort of release of it, we can only probably expect more High Circle information in the weeks to come. So that's it for the news for this week. Remember to like, subscribe, and of course share the news. If you want to join in the discussion on any of these topics, and it's not a short form question you want to ask down below, you can always join us for discussing tabletop this weekend, Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll be talking about many of these news stories and more. If you have any topics to suggest, you could always email them to discussingtabletop@yahoo.com. After that, we'll, of course, give some stories from our gaming tables and answer any questions in the discussion format that you may have for there. If you have a question, you could, of course, send it to the same email or leave in the description below if it's something you want us to discuss on, of course, Discussing Tabletop. If it is a short-form answer or something that we can quickly answer about these news stories and more, about anything I've been talking about, you can, of course, leave the question in the comments below, and I will answer it to the best of my ability. As I said, discussion questions, preferred on Discussing Tabletop. Any of the other questions, go ahead and ask them now. If you want to show some more support for the channel, though, you can always check out my Patreon link in the description below. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.